Hey folks, this is Brian with another Far Horizons update. This is the third time I've tried to get this thing rolling with different things happening. But anyway, Dylnn personal log 2001.11. So I invoke my stealth abilities and sneak up on two guards. He and Rex is actually stealthy, so he does too. I go to just, butt stroke to the head kind of thing. I missed to hit his arm. So after some skirmishing, we get him down. But we sneak on into his ship, and it sure seems like a ship. And he's got bulkheads and actual floor and all that kind of stuff. We come down the entryway, and then opens into a common area kind of place. And the big warrior guy with a sword sitting in a chair. He's got one of those hypno training helmet things on, and the sword is sitting like across his lap or on his hands or whatever they do there. There's some bay doors here. There's another door that's locked. People go check out the warrior guy. I kind of scan the room. I do see there are some cameras, so I position myself off in the corner where I can keep an eye on our entrance, the locked door, and everybody else. Crazies. Anyway, they kind of bring him, get him out of the machine and stuff and bring him down. One of the guys does that divination kind of stuff, and there's psychic power inside the sword. And I can tell that it was constructed on Mars. It's an old Earth Scout Service saber. So the locked door opens up. The old woman's there. She's holding a needler. She says, "I know how to use this." I actually understand that much. And I translate for everybody else. Balthazar in English says, "We don't understand." He puts his hands up. She seems a little startled when he spoke to her. Rex does a little quick draw kind of aim shot thing at the needler, and she goes to fire. Now, I had been trained on her because I was watching. As soon as the door opened, I trained on her. As soon as she looks like she's going to do something, like pull a trigger, I'm gonna light her up. So I do. Hit her in the arm. She screams and drops the needler. Then a hologram appears, and it says, "Do not hurt them," in English. The old woman drops to her knees. I go over. Balthazar, treats her up as best he can. I look down the hallways. A passage goes to the bridge of a ship. And then the AI locks down this common room and asks us who we are. I ask her if she's the security system for the ship. She says that she is Jean. And we can hear some pumps now running in the ship. AI tells the old woman to take her son, the warrior guy, and to leave the ship but stay nearby. So we just, let him go. Rex asks the AI what her purpose is. And she says, to survive. Is not that the purpose of existence? And I kind of catch in her tone a mix of anger and pain. We then get her to talk, and she kind of tells us her story. She was one of the last ships to go through the transit gate from old Earth. She jumps into the system, or gates into where she is. She is surrounded by ships and gets attacked. So they jump, and they end up coming here to this planet and landing here. At that time, it was a pre-medieval society, but she lets us know that the ship that we're in is sitting on the top of a 70-story skyscraper for some previous population existence. She tells us that she is a stealth ship and she's been hiding. Put together a few things. So obviously this captain had an illegal AI. The first officer apparently was a communist, and they had found out about this prophecy. So he was using the prophecy to set himself up. He stole 3 of the torpedoes and detonated them at 3 areas to be the 3 great shakings of the prophecy. The AI tried to insulate the locals and has been assisting them, ever since. Digging through archives and records of stuff, the captain had become obsessed. I spent a great deal of time looking at the sun. I mentioned there's something wrong with this planet. She took some pictures of the sun and spent a great deal of time just looking at it. The AI tells us that the captain felt there was something wrong with the way that the mass, the sunspots and things were moving. There's something wrong with it. The way that it, goes out and comes back in. So I record this stuff because, astronomy is kind of a hobby of mine. So we asked Jean if she's operational, if she wants to leave. She tells us she can pinpoint where our ship is. If we work together, we can get off the planet, but only one ship will make it, trying to do a cannibalization kind of thing. We talk among ourselves and say, okay, we'll trust her for now, and we'll protect her as best we can from, anything. It turns out she's a 100-ton scout ship. Okay, the lizard these guys ride, it's a rite of passage for a warrior to become a man, to go down into the skyscraper. There's actually a passageway. They go through the ship, come out her engineering section into a piece of the skyscraper and go on down, and that's where the lizards are. They're down in the skyscraper area. They go and they grab one and bring him up. That's his rite of passage kind of thing, and then becomes his mount. There's also what they call a foundry down the bottom of the skyscraper where people go down and they make things. A number of these guys have these daggers that are, not current tech level stuff, right? And so, they obviously come from the foundry. Discuss with Jean about the sword having psychic power inside it. She doesn't seem to understand what we're talking about. And Balthazar then shows his ring, because it can appear and disappear depending upon whether or not we want people to see it or not. She focuses on what he's doing. This is the image now, right? The hologram. She's focusing on what he's doing. And she looks bewildered. And then she asks if we are part of the Institute and has survived the purge. We're not sure what she means by that. So she gets some free reign on the ship. We go and investigate the captain's quarters. There is, in fact, a skeleton there in her diary, a needle rifle, and those pictures of the sunspots. There's no air ref in the ship. There is a bike and a rebreather. So Balthazar goes out to speak with the old woman. The woman does not trust Robin. So Robin goes to the bridge to Sulk, and I'll go and I talk with her and kind of explain a little bit of what she may have seen and happen, try to answer her questions the best I can. Everyone else tries to get the hover bike running. So we decide that we're going to go ahead and try to commune with Maliki, and we're going to bring Robin with us, initiate her into the Maliki cult. So we're trying to find some natural place. We're going to go outside, try to find some nice, glade or clearing area in the trees kind of thing where we can be alone. But when we come out, there's some lizard guards there, and they stop us and say we're not allowed to leave the cave. Balthazar goes back in, gets the needle rifle, and comes out, and he demonstrates the needle rifle on a tree. Hey, if we want to, we could kill you all easily, is what he's trying to get across. But the rider sees that, and he claims single combat with Balthazar in order to gain possession of the needle rifle. Rex acts as his champion, and goes out and fights. And he does little things. Got a laser in his wash, and ended up damaging the other guy's sword. But before the fight started, the guy kind of does a little, focusing and communing kind of thing of his own. And then in the fight, this sword gets damaged. The blade itself has a lizard motif on the blade, and it's the same high-tech materials the daggers we found previously were made out of. So we said, okay, leave these guys alone. We go into the cave. We'll commune in the cave. Cave's kind of a natural spot anyway, right? Before we're getting ready to do this, this gigantic lizard comes up out of the hole that the stream fault goes into, as a waterfall, right? Comes out. So we all turn on it. We start shooting. We beat it up pretty good. It turns to run. It was kind of funny though. Midway through the fight, it got close enough to Rex to get a bite into his leg and slings around and throws him against the wall just before he takes off and goes back down into the hole. So we survive that encounter. Interestingly enough, this lizard had a scar across one of his eyes, and in fact had a saddle on. Somebody had this beast previously. Personal log off. Don't know if the people in the area, or Dylnn for that matter, knows about psionics. I'm guessing there might be some ancient memory about that kind of stuff, but the psychic power seemed to be the right way to express an uninitiated person's understanding of the magic that we're messing with here, the mentalism lists that we use. I guess that's it. Happy gaming.